Hi, Reza. So great to see you. Thank you for your time and agreeing to do this case study. Yeah, if you could just give a bit of an introduction about yourself, your role at Datalab, and also Datalab as the company and what you do, that would be really, really good.
I'll maybe start with Datalab. We are a small data analytics consultancy. We're based in Cape Town, Joburg, and some team members in London, but most of our team is in Cape Town. We deliver professional services, I guess, to clients right across the globe. Our core focus really lies in the end-to-end implementation of cloud analytics platforms for our clients. So that's already a lot to take in terms of what that means. This could be for internal business intelligence for our clients or for clients exploring other revenue streams to help them build their data products. Our team is a highly skilled one. We've got data engineers and analytics engineers. And we typically get involved with our clients in data strategy and BI roadmaps, helping them choose cloud architecture, data engineering, creating visualizations, dashboarding capabilities. And we also do a lot of skills development inside our client teams. I am the co-owner of Datalab, and my role from around April really shifted towards being responsible for growth in Datalab.
Nice. Would you mind telling me a little bit, like to this point, what have Datalab's clients look like? Like, where are they? What industries? What sort of maturity stage of business? Yeah, a little bit about that would be really good.
I think this is part of our biggest challenge is our clients are everywhere. They are of various sizes. So some smaller clients with maybe 50 employees to big enterprise clients. We do different kinds of work for them. So for some of our clients, we implement their whole business process on their data analytics platform. Sometimes we only work with a single department, and they're very much in every single industry you can think about. Some industries we've got more experience in, like asset management and investment management, financial services space. But I think we come from a technical background, so we typically like a new challenge, and therefore a new industry every couple of months is refreshing for us.
So to this kind of up to this point, how have you got your clients so far?
We celebrated a really good year at the end of our 2024 financial books. We had a 35% growth, but this has really been mostly due to referrals and also like the continuous loyal support of our clients. We have not at all focused in the last 3 years to build a dedicated sales and marketing capability in the team. Typically, this function is kind of a side hustle of the leadership team with not a lot of focus, not a lot of strategy going into that, and just kind of trying to do whatever we think is best to grow the business.
Nice. And so you mentioned like a little bit ago, you're selling to lots of different clients, lots of different industries, different products. You said that was kind of one of your biggest challenges. Like how does that challenge manifest itself? Like why is it a challenge? How does it affect the business? How does it affect leadership?
In terms of the business and the operations, it makes it really difficult to scale because every time you start with a new industry, a new type of source data, whether it be in investment management, you're looking at client transactions and assets under management. And the next day, we're working with a farming client, then you're talking about orchards and bud counting processes. So this makes it really difficult to create recipes to execute well on, but it also creates difficulty in the brand positioning and the marketing communication being this we do everything for any and everyone type of business.
So the makeup of the team, just to confirm, when you started working with us, I know that sales and marketing was split across the founders, and then did you, if I remember correctly, did you have someone on the ground in London that was helping with sales as well?
The senior person that moved to London, had more of a technical role. I think we realize now that if we would like a business development role there, that it would be a person that is a salesperson and not a technical person. But you're right, we only now in this year, April, had a person that was looking after growth. Before that, it was really we don't have a HR department and a marketing one and a sales one. So the capacity to focus on this work is really low.
So you have this challenge. You had a great year. You want to grow, but doing lots of different things in different areas. I guess there's for every business, there's a few different ways that you could go when looking for a partner or solving this issue. Obviously, I'm very happy that you chose to work with us. What other options did you look at, and why did you end up choosing Outsell?
Over the past 2 years, we've tried a couple of different acceleration strategies, if you can call it that. We did email, cold outreach email campaign in 2022 that led to a lot of time spent in conversations with clients that didn't materialize into any work. We also did a LinkedIn social selling campaign as an alternative, but we found that it created very little value for us. We've got quite a complex sales proposition. There's a lot of education involved on the client side. Our sales cycles are incredibly long. So I joined EO Accelerator Program last year in June. In this network, you've got access to ask questions, ask about your needs, get referrals. And through that network, I was referred to Outsell. We met Richard and Henry, and I think there's definitely an added trust to being referred through that network. And you guys had a different proposition, which was more around creating capability, being strategic, as opposed to what we've experienced before as being quite a one-dimensional type of approach to sales and marketing or lead generation.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks. Could you tell us a little bit more about how you found the engagement? Obviously, it's kind of early days, but how you found the engagement so far? Like, what's the experience been like?
Our initial workshops, we were highly confused with large spreadsheets of a lot of different strategies. And I was just thinking, I don't know if he's got time for this, but we'll make time. The one thing we've learned in EO, and this I kind of take with me wherever I go, is often we've got a lot of expectation that one thing will be the silver bullet, but been through this process in EOA and working with you guys and various other things, I've realized that what you put in is actually where you'll get the value. So our initial workshops was around the ideal customer profile. I think that was quite enlightening and also difficult with our historical nature of working with any kind of client in any kind of industry. I really do think Outsell has helped us to gain clear focus on who our ideal client should be, how we tackle this, and how you can more effectively cater your messaging towards that. We've been working on a website that was half done, a couple of half-done case studies, no clear client testimonials. And I think you've really encouraged us to get those things over the line. They're important and they have been really valuable for us. That was kind of the build-up phase, getting ready, getting some assets that you can work with. Other than that, we talked a lot about the various channels, I guess. So events, what kind of media you share, helping us with things like mock sales calls and various calls we've had around advice on growth related matters. And I feel we've always been receiving valuable feedback from you. And Maybe just to add, I do think you've got a really deep understanding of sales and marketing and how these clients think and how you should approach them as humans, which is really different to, I guess, the cold email approach. So yeah, you've posed a lot of tough questions to us, and that's really helped us to think deeply and more strategically.
Out of interest, if you were met someone tomorrow, how would you describe Outsell to them?
I would describe them as the perfect partner to help you create a coherent sales and marketing capability in your business. So even though you've saved us hundreds of hours in the work that you guys are doing behind the scenes, I think for us, we feel much more confident now in like how we execute these things. We are creating content and events that are more meaningful to our audience, adding more value to them. And yeah, I think it's really been instrumental for us to have that capability inside our business being built.
Awesome. Thanks, Teresa. That's pretty much it. Any other last words? Anything you want to add?
I wish I could hire you as our CMO.
That's that's very kind and definitely going on the website. You know, why I like doing this stuff is we just find out so much about actually where the value lies and like how we position ourselves. And it's one of the things that we always tell our clients to do, right? It's not just about the marketing assets, it's like the ability to learn. We have all these assumptions, and then people are going, well, this is what we got out of it. This is what we had the value. And you do that enough, and then you're like, oh, okay, and build the business around that part. It's
Yeah.
just, it's really interesting to think you.
I mean, I should have mentioned that because like every now and then when I try and figure out what role do we have for our clients, like I go on our website and I go watch some of those testimonials because there's gold in what they're saying. They're talking about partnership, they're talking about trust, they're talking about how we had the ability to communicate and understand the business people as opposed to being a technical partner. Yeah, those things are actually of more value than a marketing kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's it. Often people do case studies, don't they? And then they kind of just go, "Oh, we'll stick them on the website and then hope someone watches
Mhm.
them." And it's not really the true value. And the other thing is obviously then, building. You have your overarching strategy, but then building your micro outreach strategies around the individual case studies. So if you've spoken to I don't know, a head of data at manufacturing company in South Africa, export company in South Africa, being able to develop relationships with them, yes, nurture them, give them value, but also be able to prove that, through a talking head video, an in-depth case study with another BI that they're head of, business intelligence that they're going to know in a company that they know. It's also due diligence done. And when they have to pass this around internally, they're not going, who are these people? Like, well, look, that's the head of BI at X. Like, if they work with them, it's good, it's good enough. It's that kind of
Yeah.
people buy from people, not businesses buy from businesses thing, which
Yeah,
is often
no,
missed.
exactly. I'm really excited about this talk with Sod. I have no intention of trying to get him to say that Datalab was key to their success. I'm hoping that it'll do it anyway. But yeah, I do think like this is where like the relationship between us and them and he's thrown us a lifeline. He's
Yeah,
thrown us potentially 500,000 rand a month for 5 months from September. It's
amazing.
not on paper yet, but
How much was the shortfall from Old Mutual again? It was near to that.
516.
It's funny how life works out.
We need to get it over the line though.
Nice, nice. I know I need to check with Rich about our meeting on Monday, but it's just I think it would be good for us to chat. I had a good chat with Rich, and it was just interesting the conversation I think I had with him. And obviously, we're keen to keep supporting in any way possible, but I think it's worth a conversation about how if there's interest for that to happen, what's the best form of that? I think Rich even said to me when you guys first came in, you were looking for like sales optimization training.
Yeah, but the one question I want to ask you, like, so I'm going to throw a lot at you at
Yeah, yeah.
this moment. So we have multiple small opportunities going on with green energy, law, you name it. These things are not the same. Recircular economics, I don't know, it's all about returns and retail. Like, not a single one of the opportunities that we have are the same ICP. They're all different. They're all different sizes. They're different locations. And then there's all of these product opportunities that's going around. There's the NHS thing. There's the exporter, and through working with Helene, there is another opportunity that kind of just came up, and it's actually quite bizarre. I don't know if you know POS systems.
No,
So these systems that they use in the restaurant to like capture the stuff that you buy,
right.
and point of sale systems.
Yeah, yeah.
And the one in South Africa that's quite large is GOP. We're going to be doing a proof of concept with Bootlegger next month. So I think what we really want to do, we've got like a deep like vision of helping clients build data products as opposed to this, we dump all our IT on your infrastructure or IP on your infrastructure. You maybe pay us 2 million Rand for that, and then it's done.
Yeah.
And it's always a conversation of cost and budget. Whereas on the other side of that, we're building either a value added service or we're helping you generate more revenue.
Yeah.
These things need to materialize into a business strategy before we can have like a marketing and sales strategy, right?
Maybe, maybe. So I guess the first part of what you're doing at the moment is totally normal, and you got to scrap and you got to fight and hustle and you take whatever work you can, and like that's the normal route. And then as you do that, you start seeing what's working, what isn't. We like those clients, we don't like those clients. So I think this is very normal. I think, and I've been thinking about this a little bit with what we do. I think sometimes we come in quite hard with companies being like, you got to niche down, you got to just focus on one thing. Now, that makes sense if there's a track record of doing that and it's in line with the business strategy and you're able to do that, and there's commitment, like there's already prior commitment from the business owners, like they kind of know they want to go that way, and it's just
Yeah.
about us leading them to that and how to execute it. Otherwise, most of our clients actually, they're still doing lots of different things, but what they use us for is to test out various ICPs. Now, you can't test out an ICP in 2 months, 3 months. You can test out very top of the funnel type stuff, but you could test out, an ICP, which is quite broad still. It's better than niche it is, but you could test them out for 12 months. I think the question is when it comes back to business strategy, how do you validate like your go-to-market strategy, right? And if you've got lots of different options, you can only do it in various ways. You talk to customers, you talk to the market, and then ultimately you test, outreach campaigns. The worst form of that you can do is go, right, let's go and find, the heads of BI at these companies and send them 10 emails. It's not a good test. So I think our model, rather than that seeing it as this like, okay, right, you got to niche down and everything's got to be on that, is like, how do we use this outbound model, which is what we have, to validate an ICP that we think we want to go for? Now, if you then see that working, then some clients go, you know what, like this is the only thing that's actually working in terms of acquisition for us. So we're going to double all of our efforts on this because it's what is bringing in the revenue. We'll still get referrals and we still got our partners. But in terms of like generating new business outside of that, this is the only thing that's working. Other clients will go, this isn't quite working. We're going to need to test a new ICB. Like it's a vehicle for being able to validate GTN strategies.
Because I think we would need, like, we need to like start choosing a lane.
You definitely need to narrow down the amount of lanes first of all, because it's a
Yeah.
lot, right? And then is it possible to actually test a couple of these, and how are you going to do that? Because with the structure that you have at the moment, you're not going to be able to test, lots of those. It will be a false test. It will be a poor test. And then you're a year
Yeah.
down the line and you're like, well, we still don't really know what, like we've still got random, and you might grow, but it's not in your hands because you're at the hands of the partners. And this exercise is about how do we build that, to a point, predictable, scalable sales model where you know that you can go out and you can actually talk to the clients that you want to talk to. You can build relationships with them. You can nurture them through the funnel, and then you can understand it's, outbound led inbound so that when they're ready to buy, they come to you.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that mechanism in place, the tactics that you only have are only like, well, let's just shoot, this 100 people an email, and then people move on because they're like, oh, we didn't get any business out of it. That's not a good test. It doesn't, with complex sales, it doesn't, you might get lucky with one.
And this is like where we do need to think of the exporter thing as a taste. Like before we start into what is we'll need to think about the business model, like how we see it adding value to them. But in terms of that list of 170 odd exporters, I don't know if you're aware, but that list of emails is often a senior manager or owner of the business. It's not the admin clerk. So yeah, they must have violated like some popular act there. But like this is one thing that we've got actually the capability, like we've got the intel there to drive a taste of that ICP.
Yeah.
I don't know how without doing too much work, because I don't think we've got the capacity to do much work before something is validated as this is really an opportunity. We thought we had like a strategy at the beginning of the year, but now it feels like it's not the right strategy.
But
I
yeah,
think this cleared up throughout the year with discussions about how you do valuations and create a consulting business that you can sell. Like those things have just like gone, and this is not what we want to do.
yeah.
So I think we are at a point where if you want to ask us about our ICP now, we're like, don't know.
I think it's okay. I think it's very normal. It's just now, what do you do to get unstuck from that? And
And
let's,
build momentum somewhere that's gonna work.
well, exactly, because then you can get mentally unstuck, but then how do you actually execute on it?
Mm,
But
mm.
let's chat with Rich again. We've got some ideas. So
I had my first forum meeting this morning. Really like my
I,
group. Yeah.
I'm in the very early stages. Rich has been hassling me to do this for years, and I've just been like, no, I can't be bothered. Is to set up a chapter in Cyprus, and I've now started very tentatively seeing if it's possible.
There's a lot of value in forum. Like even if you don't use EO as a network connection to create business, whatever, just that like 5 hours a month where you get to like unpack real problems and dedicate like time to prepare for it, think about it. There's a lot of value in that.
Yeah, yeah. Just for
Oh,
interesting, I keep thinking about what was her name, Helene. We're doing a potential partnership, and we're going to go. Do you know what EO? Well, I'm sure you know what EOS is.
if you say it now, I'll remember, but
It's
now.
it's a system for managing a
Oh,
business.
yes, 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 the traction stuff.
Traction,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So we are in this partnership, we're going to go after EOS facilitators because basically the businesses that they work with fit our ICP, but they have, when they're doing facilitation or implementation of EOS, at some point, most of these companies don't have the right people in the right seats. And they go, yeah, well, it's all good. How do we actually do it? Because we don't have the people. So we obviously want to be a partner that they refer. Now, also, we're solving a problem for the EOS facilitators because if they're not able to do that, they struggle to get people through EOS and they struggle to hold on to their clients. They also struggle with client acquisition. For another client in Cape Town called Ross Drakes, he runs a design agency called Niceworks, really
I
nice
don't
design
know.
agency, but he has always struggled. There's so many design agencies and branding agencies about going direct to clients. So with him, we're utilizing EO and YPO, and we're going after exec coaches. So in the US, exec coaches talk to founders about the need to be able to communicate, publicly and founder-led growth and all this type of stuff. But the exec coaches don't know how to talk about branding or
Mm-hmm.
communication. We are with Ross, we're going after exec coaches and we're offering all this free value to them in terms of masterclasses so that they can pass this value on to their clients. It helps them with client retention, it helps them with their own brand, it helps them with acquisition. So what happens with them is they go, yeah, they always also recognize it as a weakness in themselves. So normally the coach then goes, yeah, this is great. Actually, I need my brand doing. They have an amazing experience with Ross, and then they start referring on Ross to their clients. And this is a
Mm-hmm.
multiplier. And I think there's a conversation to be had in this, like, what's the goal, right? If the goal is to drive revenue, it's to test ICPs, like get out of this like kind of tricky patch. There's something in there about refiguring about how you think about the ICP to potentially look at like who are the multipliers. And we talked about this a little
Mm-hmm.
bit before. And what problems are you solving for them? And what status have you got to actually prove worth? That's something that is, can be interesting to look at, I think.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something like I've never thought about who could be the multipliers except for like the salespeople and our technology partners. And they're good. Like if I look at the POCs, leads, they come from ThoughtSpot specifically. But I think the problem is we've got two messages. The one is we do end-to-end data implementation consulting for clients, and the other one is we're a partner to build a data product that's going to generate revenue for you. Those are completely set different businesses, and I know which one we want to be, like how we kickstart that, and that messaging is also much easier. People understand that.
Yeah, so it sounds like and then then there's the ability to actually translate that knowledge into then kind of actionable stuff, right?
And that we're doing this for now two clients. I mean, this is the NHS model, and the other one is a company called RMX Recommerce. So
Yeah.
this guy lives in Gibraltar somewhere. He's the like owner of his business, and he's trying to create a data product business. So he's trying to make people understand their returns, where they can resell it to, should they just like right off the stock, like how can they make the most of their returned products. I think like through these, which are now consulting engagements, I guess, we'll learn more about doing that type of work. Yeah.
Alrighty. Cool.
All
So
right.
thank you so much for the case study. Really appreciate it.
No, it's a pleasure.
Cool. All right. Have a
I
lovely
don't
weekend.
want to ask you end, like, I just want you to know that, like, we're not wanting to continue to work with you. The one thing that is keeping us awake at night is 40 grand plus that is someone's salary at
Yeah.
this point. And I think we're so reluctant to think about things like retrenchments because we really like the team that we have. So we're just trying to figure out, there's a couple of hurdles, there's lots of potential revenue. It's trying to get things over the line, and in my mind, we should be okay, but there's a very big chance that we'll not be that okay. If things just fall through the cracks, then we've got a problem.
Yeah. No, I understand. And I appreciate that. Thanks. We were having our quarterly yesterday and we were doing a lever, audit. And Rich was like, so Datalab, what's going on? Why are they leaving? I mean, I do know, but it's always, there's always tough questions to be asked about this. And I think, yes, there's the money side, and the business side, but there's also it coming back, there has to be our learnings about the readiness of how we think about ICPs or how we communicate what this is. And for that ICP, there's also product alignment, in the situation that business is at the moment. Are you on the right product and have we delivered the right service to you? So I always take it personally when clients leave. I hate it, but equally,
I also take it personally.
yeah, it's really annoying. It's really annoying. But I feel quite comfortable. There's lots to learn here, and we can always do things better. It's not one that's really keeping me awake at night, because I feel I understand that you guys do want to continue. I think there's value to be added in the future. So, I mean, you see.
Our whole scenario could change in throughout the month of August. It could completely change. I don't know what the conversation looks like as around, we're going to be fine. Can we just continue? It's fine.
This is the thing. I don't think it should just continue in this form. I think this is the product alignment. It's well, what's it worth continuing with at the moment, and how do we structure that engagement and make sure that we're actually giving you guys the greatest value. Let's see. I obviously hope we continue. But let's see.
Yeah, no, me too. I think this is when one of your best employees leave, you only realize what the impact is when they're not there anymore.
I hope that's the case. I hope it's not the other way around. That'd be really bad.
No, this person here doesn't have time to create lists and think about how to respond to this specific person. I don't like that. That's just not my area of expertise, strategically responding to people's questions and positioning the right next step.
Cool. Well, let's keep chatting. We see where we end up. Thanks.
Cheers, Henry. Have a good
You
weekend.
too. Bye bye.